12195.
On 882 6PR, this is Paul Murray.
Let's get to your calls for former Prime Minister John Howard. First up is Scott in Westminster. The former Prime Minister's listening, Scott.
Yeah, g'day, Paul. And Mr. Howard, how are you? Can I call you John?
Whatever you like, mate. It's all right.
Okay, mate. Look, first thing I want to say is I apologise deeply because I was one of many, many Conservative voters who actually voted for Kevin Rudd in 2007, and which was the worst mistake of our lives.
Well, it'll come back in 10 years, and by then I may have forgiven you. No, but look, don't worry, forget it. No hard feelings.
Good on you, Scott. We'll move on from there. Point well made and taken, I think. John and Currumbine. G'day, John.
Good morning, Paul, and former Prime Minister.
Hello.
Mr. Howard, the original Lazarus Rising was in fact a work of fiction about a dictator who heads up a fascist government. Was this a Freudian slip or your regrets?
Well, I
for lost
thought
opportunities when in power?
I thought Lazarus was a significant figure in the Bible.
Yeah, I just wondered if you'd had the reference to the other book and it was a
yeah, somebody did make that comment to me, but most people do associate Lazarus with the person who Jesus brought back from the dead.
And with a particular saying about you that it was Lazarus
well,
with a
and the reason
bypass.
I chose it was that when I was chucked out as leader in 1989 at the post-leadership ballot conference, I was asked, did I ever think I'd come back? And I said that would be like Lazarus with the triple bypass.
That was it. Brett in Mount Pleasant. Morning, Brett.
Yeah, g'day guys. Hey, Mr. Howard, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
That's good. Yeah, it's been known that you've had a bit of a relationship with your mate George Bush.
Yes,
One, you at all sort of how his government misled you guys about going to Iraq and
sure. Yeah, I understand the point you're getting at. Look, I am a friend of George Bush's. I still see him, and I'm very happy to maintain that friendship. His government didn't mislead us to the extent that there was a mistake in the intelligence. It was a mistake from which his government suffered as much as any other government. The decision in relation to weapons of mass destruction in Iraq was based on intelligence available from multiple sources to the American government, the British government and the Australian government. Now, as it turned out, the conclusions reached by the American intelligence agencies on which Bush based his decisions were wrong. Now, that happens with intelligence. I noticed there's a report in the paper this morning that the American Roosevelt on the eve of Pearl Harbor missed some vital intelligence which should have been acted on. That's the problem with intelligence. If you wait until you get absolute proof, you can be wrong. And I, in fact, in my book made the comparison between Iraq and Pearl Harbor, and that if you wait until you've got perfect proof beyond a reasonable doubt, you can be wrong. But there was no way that what the Bush government represented to us was any different from what had been represented to the Bush government by the CIA and all the intelligence sources. I saw the CIA's intelligence, I saw the intelligence of MI6, and I was persuaded, as was he and Blair and others, that there was, on the balance of probabilities, the reality that Iraq did have these weapons. Now, that turned out to be erroneous, but you can't blame George Bush personally for that.
Thanks, Brett. Bruce and Fremantle. Morning, Bruce.
Yeah, hi, Paul. Thanks for the opportunity. How are you, Mr. Howard?
Very well.
If there was an opportunity where you could throw your hat back in the ring to start this country back on the right track, could you mention to me what your first three priorities would be, please?
Well, let me make it clear. I'm out of politics. I had a very good run. I'm not coming back. It's nice of you to sort of put it in those terms. Look, I think that the first thing that I think we should do is frankly set about changing the absurd re-regulation of the labour market that this government is engaged in.
But are you in fact responsible for that? Tony Abbott says you went too far. We
went too far in one respect. And I accept full responsibility because I was Prime Minister. you have to accept responsibility as well as claim the credit for the good things.
Yep.
But the overwhelming majority of people in our cabinet wanted us to do what we did. And in fact, when we brought the change of work choices in, a lot of people said it didn't go too far. But the one big mistake we made was to get rid of the no disadvantage test, which enabled the Labor Party and the unions to run a campaign that penalty rates would be taken away. Now, that was erroneous, but because it was open for that to occur in circumstances where the existence of it would make the difference between a person having a job or not having a job, it was an effective, fair campaign. But they've gone far beyond repealing that.
Sure. So in terms of Bruce's question, you deregulate the labour market.
Well, I'd certainly go back in relation to the labour market. I think that is the first thing. I would completely abandon this absurd, wasteful NBN. I think that is a ludicrous thing, and of course I wouldn't go ahead with the carbon tax. I think the carbon tax is, and they're not necessarily in order of priority. He asked me for three things.
They're the three biggies.
They're three things that I would certainly do something about.
Goes to our last caller for you is John in Karrinyup. G'day, John.
Hi, fellas. Prime Minister, ex-Prime Minister, lovely to have you back in the West. I guess the previous caller answered my question. There's no chance, I hope, that you could have more bypass surgery and come back and save us from this mess we're in?
No, look, I'm very healthy. Thanks for the thought, but I think the Liberal Party is led by a very capable person in Tony Abbott. Abbott is doing a very good job. I mean, he brought the party back from the dead politically, and he almost pulled off, an upset in 100 years of Australian political history in going so close to winning the last election. So I'm very confident about the leadership that he's giving to the party. But thank you for your kind thoughts.
Former Liberal Prime Minister Malcolm Fraser is making the Whitlam oration this year. Have they approached you yet?
I didn't know that. That's
Yes.
ironic. Oh well, no, I don't. No, I don't think they.
Unlikely to be on the list.
Well, look, I bear no ill will towards Gough. He's Gough's now 95, and
well, I don't think Gough's the one who's changed his views in this.
No, I think
those
it is
two.
fair to say that. And there's a lesson in that. You've got to stick to your views. If you take strong positions, you don't necessarily win the respect of the community by progressively abandoning them, and certainly Whitlam didn't do that, even though I disagreed with many of his positions. So I respect him for holding to them.
Yes, indeed. You've got a book signing on this afternoon at Dimox in Karrinyup, so you'll be there from 12:30 for about an hour. I think you did a book signing yesterday as well.
I did do a book signing, and we had a function at the Aquinas College last night, and a few more this afternoon, and one again tomorrow morning at the Parmelia Hotel, and then back to Sydney.
Great stuff. Good to talk to you again. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Former Prime Minister John Howard has been with us for the last half hour. When we come back from the 10 o'clock 6PR news, John Hammond, our legal eagle, will be in the studio. Any questions you want answered about the